Hello and welcome back to the magical world of Power Query. This is Trisha Jaktiani and I'm here with another tutorial on data cleaning process on Power Query. Like we had already seen in our previous video how you can use some techniques to clean data in the Power Query editor window, and as promised I've come back with more ideas or more techniques to clean your data or more functionalities to clean your data through the Power Query editor window. So first, what we are going to do in this tutorial is I will first extract data or export data from a CSV file and then go on to the transform screen to start editing or making transformation to my data so that we get the final product or the final data for further analysis. So I'm going to start with going to get data from the data tab. From the file, this time I'll select text or CSV, browse through where I want the data from, select my table or the file that is in the CSV format and click on import. As soon as I do that, you will see that it starts importing. You will see that it automatically detects the data type based on the first 200 rows. You can change it if you want to based on the entire data set, or so that it will check entire data set and then give the proper data type. Or you can also go on to saying do not detect the data type, so that when you go on to the edit window, you can change it as per your requirement. So as of now, I'm going to leave it as saying based on the first 200 rows, which is fine because that is all the data that I have. Once I have that, I will click on transform data. As you have already seen that the transform data takes you to the Power Query editor window. So as soon as the Power Query editor window starts, I can now start working on the transformation of my data. So here I have the data. Going on to this queries list, you can see there are some more queries. The first time when we did it, there were only very few queries left, but there are more queries added here. Now we are looking at 2018 sales information. You can change the name like we already are aware of, and the steps are applied here. Now, because we had already said that check or detect the data type automatically as per the 200 rows, it has added two steps onto the applied steps as well. Now, looking at few more things that we are going to see today is how do you start working on deleting some columns or making some more changes. So let's start with the first is the order date. Now we can see that the order date has already been detected and all the dates are showing in a correct order and the correct format. The next that I want is I'm looking at the order ID. As of now, I'm not looking at order ID. I do not want the order ID to be there in my data. In order to do that, I can just select the order ID column and click on remove columns. If I click on remove column, that column will go away and the remove column step will be added to the Power Query editor window. Moving to the next one, you can see the customer name. The customer name looks a little odd where the names are not in a proper form or in the proper case. Now I want to change this to show it in a proper case. How do I do that? In the data type, I cannot change the format because that is not where it is available. I'll have to go on to the transform and I will go on to check for how to get my data capitalized or in a proper form. That is available under the format tab here under the text column group. Click on the format and here you can see lowercase, uppercase, capitalized each word, trim, clean, add prefix, add suffix. Depending on what is your requirement. As of now, we are looking at capitalizing each word. So I'm going to click on capitalize each word. What happens is it automatically capitalizes each word in that particular column or in that column which we had selected. I had selected only one column. So this was another way of actually capitalizing. So we have already seen how you can delete a column, how you can capitalize each word or making your data in a proper case. Now capitalizing each word is definitely where you have one or first letter capital and the rest are all small. That is what is called as capitalize each word. Now moving a little ahead, I can see the country. In the country, it looks everything is fine. However, if you look at Saudi Arabia, that's given. If you look at the names United States, it just says United States. While we are aware United States is the same as the United States of America, I want it to show the complete name. In that case, I will have to look for United States everywhere in the data and then keep changing it. but that would take a lot of time. So in order to change that, I can just select my country data, go on to the transform tab and click on replace values. Once I click on replace values, the replace values window or the pop-up will appear. In this window, just like we have the find and replace in Excel, you will have to give the value to find and replace with value. In the value to find, I'm going to add United States. Remember, Power Query is case sensitive, so you have to give exactly the same case that is there in the data here. So just be very sure that it is exactly written the way it is here. So it is spelling sensitive, it is as well as case sensitive. Replace with what? So we want to replace it with saying United States of America. That is how I want my data to be shown. Once I've done that, I click on OK. And another step is added here. And all the United States where it has changed to United States of America. Now let's look at more transformations. The next that we see here is the product name. What is there in the product name? We have some digits and some alphabets. So that's an alphanumeric ID that is given to those product names. What I need to do is I need to split product name into the alphabets only. I do not want the numbers to be shown. I can do that as well by just going on to the transform data, select my product name, and from the extract column, there is an option to extract it in different ways. One is the length by the first character, by the last character, just like we have left and right in Excel, we have first character and the last character in your Power Query. So if I go to first character, it will ask me how many characters in the first from the start. So I can give that. The same goes with last character. Range text before delimiter. If you have a delimiter, like we have text to column in Excel, same here. We have, if you have a delimiter that you are using, you can give that. Here we don't have a delimiter, but we have something which is splitting by the numbers. But there you cannot see anything in the extract column. So where do we go in order to get this number split by the alphabet, or the wherever there is a number, where the number starts, you need to get a split. In order to do that, you can go on to the another option which is under the text column option called as split column. The split column also allows you to split the data as per other options, by just like by delimiter, by the number of characters, by position, by lower to uppercase. So if there is a difference in the lower and the uppercase, like one data has uppercase and then in the middle of the text or in the middle of that word starts with an uppercase, then you can actually use this delimiter or this split column option to split the data into two. Same goes with upper to lower.
Congratulations on completing the business dashboard using Excel course. Ready to elevate your career? Join our postgraduate certificate in data science and AI and gain exclusive benefits like a complimentary Python programming bootcamp, 7+ case studies, dedicated student support, and access to our job opportunities portal. Don't miss out on this chance to transform your career. Invest in yourself today and join our program. Click on the link in the description to enroll now and take the next step in your career journey.
The next is by digit to non-digit. So if the data is starting with the digit and in the middle of the data it gets or it changes to non-digit, you can use this. But in our case, it's the other way around. It starts with non-digit, which is a text, and then changes to digit. So hence I'm going to use the last option, which is by non-digit to digit. And you will see that it has automatically split the column into two parts. One is your saying the alphabets, and the second part gives you the number. Now again, I do not want the second part, which is the numeric data, so I'm going to select that and click on remove column. So that column is gone away. You can see that each step is getting recorded on the right hand side. So just like a VBA, it is getting recorded. Now the product name has automatically changed to saying product name 1. I will rather want to keep this as product name only. So I'm going to remove the name and press enter. It will again add one more step saying rename this column to product name from product name dot one. So these are few steps that we have added. Let's look at more things that you can do on this data. One more thing that I would want to see is on the order date column. You can see that the date is split as per our date is mentioned as DD, MM, YY, YY. While I am okay with the format, I want another column which will have only the month extracted from the order date. And how do I get that? Another way to actually use the transform data option here. There are two ways to perform this action. One is simply select the order date, duplicate this particular column, and then change the data type to the duplicate column, saying I just want month in that column. So you can actually change it to show that, but instead of doing that, it's a easier way to actually do that is going on to the add column, because we are anyways going to add a new column to it. So I'm going to go to add column and just say month, and then click on the month option, which is the first month here. Now what happens is as soon as you do the month, it automatically adds a column at the end of the data on the right hand side, and you can see the numbers added to it. However, I do not want the number to be shown. I want this to show as the alphabetical or the name of that month. So the alphabets or the word that month name is called. Again, going back to this data, add columns and then say date. And here I will say name of the month. Once I say the name of the month, you will see that it automatically picks up the name of that month, which is in that order date. Now I can move this data to the start or in very close to the date here. In order to do that, I can right click and say move to the beginning, or you can always say move to the left. But if you do left, it will just go one step on the left. So it will take some time to reach to the start. So I'm going to say move to the beginning. Once it has moved to the beginning, I will then right click and move it one step to the right. So it becomes easier for me to now get the data just next to the order date. So this is how you can get your order date change or added a month onto your data. Let's look at another way to do the same step. Let's delete this first and I will show you how you can create another way or how you can do it in a different way. So let's say you do not have this month given here. You will select the order date. Say you want to duplicate this order date by doing a duplicate this column. In order to duplicate column, select the order date and then go on to the add column. And under add column, you will see the duplicate column. Just click on duplicate columns and the duplicate column is added at the end of the data. Now at the end of the data, you can change this by going on to the transform, and under the date option, you can see other options which are available. Change it to name of the month. That is another way to do that. Instead of using the add column and doing it, you can do the same way by going on to add column, adding a duplicate column and then changing the name of the or the way the data is shown into the name of the month. So these are two different ways to add your uh, uh, date or change the name of the month. So you can do a lot of different things with these kind of information that you have available on the database, and you can already see that all the steps have been added. So whenever there is any change or any new data that is uploaded on the database, it will automatically run all these steps and get uploaded on your data, and you will have the new refreshed data on your data set. Just you have to remember that you have to click on refresh. So as of now, I'm going to click on close and load so that it goes back to my data sheet and it gets loaded on my database. And you can see that it is getting loaded, and here it is running the data. Here you can see that 130 rows have been loaded and your data is ready for further analysis. You can also see the order date or the copy of the order date which we had added. Due to the name that we did not change there, you can always go back and change the name if you require. And here you are with your data. You just need to remember to refresh it the next time when you come inside or make any changes to the data. Hope you found this tutorial useful, and keep watching for more of tutorials on the Power Query. The next that we are going to cover is on the pivot and unpivoting um, on the Power Query, how it is helpful and how you can do that. Thank you for watching.